So by 63, you're now the boss at Manly. What's first on the agenda?
Oh, well, my first thing with Manly, when I went there, I was a little bit disappointed, you know, that they'd never sort of won a premiership, and I just made up my mind. I was determined to make sure that eventually we could win a premiership. And, of course, we went on and we won quite a few after then.
Kenny Irvine so close, really. And Jones, the captain, he's over, a try. Pierce gets the pass, out it goes to Fulton, has Irvine with him, Irvine and Fulton, he's in, a try. That's the full-time siren, it's all over, Manly have won.
Where's the support out wide, it's low from the corner, he'll score, and Manly has won the 1976 premiership.
It's a beautiful pass, he's going to get close to scoring here, Chambers chasing him, but he's going to run away, well, Rafferty was chasing him, but he's going to run away with it, that's it. It's been a Manly win by 16 points to 0.
You were driving standards. Manly around this era became the envy of everyone else. The Silvertails reputation was starting to breed, and you were very happy to be the one that everyone hated. Yeah, as the club, because, you know, you had everything. It was a golden era.
For a bloke that was born in very poor circumstances, in the Balmain area, I was quite chuffed to be called a Silvertail. I thought, geez, that's a big rise for me, because you know, my family we were exactly poor, so you know, to be suddenly become a Silvertail was a big lift for me.
So the signings you set your mind to turn Manly into this great club. I mean, Ken Irvine, Graham Eadie, Terry Randall, John O'Neill, Krilich, Les Boyd. These are the men that you started to put in and around this great Northern Beaches area, and they turned the club into an almighty franchise. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about your greatest signing ever, Bob Fulton.
Another Manly ball. Run around move, Fulton. Alexa kick.
How did you lure him to the club, and what difference did he make to the Seagulls?
Bob Fulton, in my, not only is he the best player that Manly's ever had, in my view. I mean, when people ask me who's the best player I've ever seen, I always say Bob Fulton. I mean, and it's very difficult to say that Bose was any better than Churchill or Leemans or Gasnier or Raper, you know, because they were all such great players. But in my view, he was the best player we've ever had. And actually, I first saw him play when he was 16, and I thought, geez, I'm going to get this bloke. And the next week, he was picked in the country seconds for half a game, and I thought, oh God, you know, everyone will have their eye on him now, and he played okay. He always did, but he only played half a game, and anyway, I got him down next day to Manly and signed him. He was an absolutely outstanding player and an outstanding coach too. Actually, he really was.
Did you have a little group of favourites that were just fun to have around the club?
Well, I thought the world of all of them, but I mean, probably Bob Fulton was my favourite, you know, because I actually see Bob. Bob done it tough. He hadn't had a father, and I was virtually his father, you know, for all those years. And so, you know, he was, well, not probably, he certainly was my favourite player, yeah.
You provided these young men with a career and some advice and a fatherly figure, and it's something a lot of them didn't have until they met you.
Yeah, well, I did try to help them along. I did do my best to try and help them if I could, and most of them were, you know, they did it themselves too. They were pretty capable people.
20 years at Manly, 8 grand finals, 4 premierships. Was that the golden era for you?
Well, it was, yes, it really was. And when I first went to Manly, gee, I was disappointed. You know, it was a bit of a schmozzle there. The team wasn't what I thought it should have been, and they didn't seem to be moving in any direction to sort of make it a better team. So I thought, well, I'm going to try and do something to change this, which hopefully I was able to.
You became the chair of the ARL.
Yeah.
And then you find yourself in the fight of a lifetime.
This is no ordinary time for rugby league football.
I'm a little bit concerned, and I think most people are, that I'm not sure whether two competitions will work.
Of the need for change and the pressing demand for the modernisation of the game.
I've always said, and I've never varied, the one thing that is not negotiable is that the Australian Rugby League must control the game.
You'll have my word that we'll never give in. We'll never, ever give in. Thank you very much.
When did you first hear the words Super League?
Well, I was in England at the time with the Australian team, and as a matter of fact, I had the very great honour of having to have lunch with the Queen on the following Saturday. But I thought, I've got to give that a miss. I mean, it's much more important to me to be home, you know.
You gave up the invitation with the Queen to go deal with Super League.
Oh, that's the truth, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, football was my whole life, and and of course, you know, when they were under threat, as they were on this occasion, it was up to me to try and do something about it. So, you know, wouldn't matter who I had to meet or what I had to do. Rugby league was more important to me than anything else.
It was such a troubled time. Your power, money, loyalties, all up for grabs, all under question. You're under enormous pressure. You said at times it almost killed you. Did you feel like the enormity of it just sat so heavily with you? Did you feel like
absolutely.
those dark days were just, you'd never get out?
Absolutely. Yeah, my phone had been ringing all night, all hours of early mornings, everything. I hardly, pardon me, I hardly slept, you know, for long periods of time during that Super League war.
What was the worst day? Do you remember?
Yeah, the worst day was when it first went before the court. The judge ruled in favour of the rugby league because he said, even though the Super League was in its rights in doing what it did, he'd rule against them because of the way they'd gone about it, and he was very, very critical. Anyway, of course, and he ruled in favour of the Australian Rugby League, and of course there was an appeal, and it went before three judges that came from South Australia who knew absolutely nothing about rugby league. I don't think they knew anything about sport, if you want to know the truth. But anyway, to cut a long story short, they overturned it and ruled the other way, and that's what happened at that time. But it's all been ironed out subsequently, and rugby league's back in control again, which is the main thing from my point of view.
Rumour has it you were offered $500,000 to join Super League.
I was offered quite a lot of money, yeah.
Did you think about it?
No, mate, no.
It's a lot of money. It's life-changing money.
Well, yeah, well, of course it is, but you know, it had to kill me to do that. I wouldn't do it.
Who offered?
It came through Peter Moore, who was a good mate of mine, and the Super League had appointed him to approach me and make the offer, but which, you know, was very, very tempting, of course, but, you know, geez, you'd be a pretty low person if you know.
You've had incredible ethics and standards through this entire time. Friendships were strained. John Rebo was, obviously, you had a connection with him at Manly.
Yeah.
How difficult did it become between the men that you considered friends?
Yeah, well, I've never ever lost my friendship with John Rebo. I've always liked John, and I'm still friends with him, and you know, we didn't let that affect our friendship. I mean, we were opposed to each other and we were both going in opposite directions. But I mean, irrespective of that, you know, we didn't let that stand in the way of a friendship that we had then and have always had.